So Taylor Swift did not only have the mind to come out to address the public, she had the mind to still brag about her album. Like, she had the mind to still being able to talk and be like, okay, it's a win-win or lose-lose thing. Even if you like, talk about me anyhow you want to talk about me. The main game is I am making money. It's a lie. The main game is you are jealous of black women. The main game is you never liked black people. The main game is you are a racist, as far as I'm concerned. That is where the main game is. Anyways, in today's video, we're going to be exploring more of that and diving into the video she actually did so that you can actually see Americans' reaction of what Taylor Swift actually said and what they also said about her. Because when I saw that video, I was like, you do not even need to come say this because, one, you are a celebrity. We've been listening to your music, we've been promoting your music, we've been helping you in every single thing for you to be able to stand. So for you to come do this is even the worst as far as I'm concerned. Anyways, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sonia. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. Credit belongs to original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode, and this is just for educational purposes. I stand a chance to be corrected, so feel free to correct me in the comment section. And guys, with that being said, let's dive right into this video, and I'll be back with commentaries. Let's get right into it, guys.
The rule of show business is if it's the first week of my album release and you are saying either my name or my album title, you're helping. And art, I have a lot of respect for people's subjective opinions on art. I'm not the art police. It's like everybody is allowed to feel exactly how they want. And what our goal is as entertainers is to be a mirror. Oftentimes an album is a really, really wild way to look at yourself, right? What you're going through in your life is going to affect whether you relate to the music that I'm putting out at any given moment. And what I often love seeing my fans say is, I used to be someone who didn't like relate to Reputation, and now that I've been through some other things in my life, that's my favorite album. Or I used to be a like fearless girly, now I'm obsessed with Evermore. Like, and we're doing this thing for keeps. Like, I have such an eye on legacy when I'm making my music. I know what I made. I know I adore it. And I know that, like, on the theme of what the showgirl is, all of this is part of it. Rule of show business is if it's the first week of my album release and you are saying either my name or my album title, you're helping.
We need to go back to humbling artists. I mean it. You got your big ego ass the fuck on that fucking interview and said, because people are talking about your album and critiquing it, that means your album is doing something. No, it means that your album is trash and you should work on perfecting your craft. I fear I'm gonna have to say the quiet part out loud. A lot of Taylor Swift fans be kissing her ass and don't be telling her when her music sucks. And that's the problem. Her album that just came out is completely trash. And everyone been talking about it. Left to right. Like, nonstop. But the fact of the matter is, she can't even take that critique in and say, you know what? Maybe I do need to work on, evolving my music, evolving my sound. Which is why a lot of people were upset that she won Album of the Year over Beyonce. Because it's like, how can you say Taylor Swift album was better?
The rule of show business is if it's the first week of my album release and you are saying either my name or my album title, you're helping.
Who is she feeling like with that tired bang? She's been in the game for far too long to still be saying things adjacent to all publicity is good publicity. That is some new artist BS, and in my opinion, it doesn't even apply today. The parasocial relationships that people have formed with celebrities has made bad publicity a negative. DaBaby, Danny Lay, Keke Palmer, I'm coming back to her, Lil Nas X, and I know what you're thinking, she's only saying minorities. Well, Iggy Azalea, Sia, Robin Thicke, the list goes on. Yes, it's crazy to compare her to people that have actually done very controversial things in the past. That inevitably was going to get lots of backlash. All Little Miss alleged Trump supporter did was put out a bad album that her own fans vocalized their disdain for. She's so mad the Swifties realized how basic she is. And coincidentally, she's not going to be touring with this album. If we know the album is bad, Taylor knows the album is bad. Now all she's doing is trying to save filler face. It's pathetic. She should apologize to her fans for getting them all riled up and forcing them to listen to a pile of human sh. You're welcome, I love ya.
So in Taylor Swift's response to criticism of her album, she says, you know, what you're going through in life, that's going to affect whether or not you relate to the music she's releasing at any given time. Okay, let's accept that premise. When she says, you know, gonna have the whole block looking like you, talking about her white football husband, Travis Kelce, who's supposed to relate to that? She says, you know, like, I'm not a bad B word, I'm not a savage, and is obviously throwing shade at Kelsey's black ex-girlfriends. Who's supposed to relate to that? I would have had so much more respect for her if she had just walked it back. A girl, just say that, you know, it wasn't your intention, that you're just, you know, in love with this guy and you're not trying to be playing into a lot of the conservative talking points and rhetoric going on right now. That's not what she said. That's not what she said. And she is a smart, savvy businesswoman. And so I'm thinking that's on purpose. She is not trying to alienate the fans who are defending her and saying that these lyrics are innocent. For a former fan like me, and I mean, I would be streaming Cruel Summer a lot. I'm really disappointed. I mean, she's playing into a lot of problematic rhetoric in the same way that Sydney Sweetie was with the American Eagle ad, but she's just doing it in a smarter way, in a more insidious and layered way, so that the criticism can be more easily dismissed.
You guys do realize that when you talk about me and my songs and how terrible they are, that's actually good. Starting now after this interview, anybody that says anything bad about my album actually likes me a lot and actually is my biggest fan. This is me. Hey guys, look, I'm counting I'm counting the money that I'm making from this bad publicity, because that's actually good for me. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's actually good for me. Little do they realize I'm rubber, they're glue. So when they say, you know, hey, your songs sound like they're made by AI and there's no soul in them and you're just copying other artists that actually have talent, and you layer over 4,000 versions of the same line onto each other and you condense them and compress them into one single line that's not even like music anymore, it bounces off of me and sticks to them. Look, I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 million, 6 million. Keep it up, guys. No, keep it up. La la la, can't hear you. Ha. Can't hear you. I can, and it's good for me because that's actually good. That it's actually I'm actually benefiting from you guys doing this. But no, I can't. I can't hear any of. I don't see any of that at all or hear it at all.
So Taylor Swift was recently recently saying that as long as you're talking about her album, whether it's good or bad, it's money in her pocket. That's not a thing anymore. Okay, so a little while ago I did a video about how Donald Trump got billions of dollars in what is called earned media. Earned media is like the amount of press you get, the amount of eyeballs you get on an idea or a concept based off of something you've done to gain that media attention. Taylor Swift is a billionaire that is operating within the same industry she's operated within for the last 20 years. She has no need for earned media. All press is good press is generally a sentiment amongst people who are launching something who do not have the political or public presence to get that off the ground, to get people talking about it. That's who benefits the most from earned media. Donald Trump benefited from earned media as a billionaire because he was not within a political sphere at the time. Hillary Clinton boosting Donald Trump's political profile above his real estate profile was to center herself as the more tame choice. He garnered earned media from her. When you're already famous, when you're already operating in this sphere where you are at the top of your game or considered at the top of your game, it's not necessarily that people are talking about you that you have to consider. It's who amongst the people that are talking about you that you need to consider. Because the majority of the people that are talking that have had their voices elevated with this recent album are her own fans disappointed with her body of work. or at the very least acknowledging that she has grown out of their favor, which is a completely different ecosystem of discourse than just talking about something to talk about it. Because when the group of people talking about you have a basis in your own body of work and have enough knowledge, enough in-speak, i.e. the vocabulary they use amongst themselves to talk about you within the fandom, once that's the discourse, that's a completely different ballgame, so to speak.
She wasn't kidding when she said that this is the album she's been wanting to make for a very long time. Do any of you remember the 73 question Vogue interview? This one? Let me refresh your memory if you haven't, because lock in, because this is wild. This woman is nuts. First of all, it's the 73 question interview. In the podcast with Travis, she referenced 1973. She pulled out the number 73. It gets better, I promise. She also mentioned the movie The Martian twice. And as we've been seeing with this album rollout, she's doing a lot of twos. Everything is in twos. And in a couple of these interviews, she's been talking about outer space. Interesting. The interviewer asked her if she was a teacher, what type of subject would she teach? And she said, I'd want to be an English teacher. The English teacher is marrying the gym teacher. And she offers him coffee in different flavors. And this may be my own theory, but hang on with me. In the podcast, they mentioned 4 different loaves of sour bread, 4 different flavors. Travis said the original was his favorite. In all of these interviews, she's offering everybody 2 loaves of sour bread, and they're different flavors. So I think there's some correlation there. We've been catching her in some lies. She's been saying Travis is 6'6" when he's 6'5". She told Jimmy Fallon this was her second podcast ever, when we know that she had already done a bunch of other podcasts in England. The woman's been lying, and she lies in this interview as well. They ask her what her favorite food is, and she said if I could have anything in the world, it would be chicken tenders. The very follow-up question to that is, if you were going to go through a drive-thru, what would your order be? And she says a hamburger. Lies. If chicken tenders is your favorite food, why would you choose a hamburger? Hang on, it gets better, I promise. She also mentions Jay-Z in this interview. She also mentioned Jay-Z on Fallon the other night and on Seth Meyers. And she says her favorite movie is Love Actually. Actually romantic. That movie is. And then she says if she wasn't in music, she would probably be doing advertising, coming up with different slogans like she does for titles of song. What's the slogan we've all been hearing? Keep it 100. And here's where it starts to get even better. Then they ask her, what song does she wish she had written? And she says the Friends theme song, because of those royalties. But then they also ask her what is the best compliment she ever had. And she says that she's generous. So what we know so far about this album is that she gave credit to George Michael. Apparently he had some type of royalty struggle as well. So this way he gets royalties, well, his family gets royalties for her using father figure. That is very generous. Also, Karma takes all her friends to the summit. She has been name dropping like crazy on these interviews. And of course they always seem natural, but she's mentioned Selena, she's mentioned Jay-Z, she's mentioned Ed Sheeran. She mentions Ed Sheeran in this interview as well as Jay-Z. She mentioned Lisa Bonet and Zoe Kravitz and the big Snakegate that happened. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, watch the Seth Meyers interview with the whole Snakegate scenario. It's very rep-coded. And then go and watch Zoe Kravitz's interview, because there are a lot of things that don't quite align. And I'll probably do a second video on that entire thing. Guys, she makes 2 references to wood. One is that her boyfriend planted her a tree. The other is that her favorite scented candle is something treehouse. She also mentions a lightning bolt twice. Also, somewhere in the interview, she mentions the phrase clouds in my coffee from the song You're So Vain. In Opalite, we hear this was just a storm inside a teacup. Of course, she mentions her mom. She does a lot, but she has been mentioning it has seemed very intentional that her mom is mentioned in all of these interviews, and she's mentioned in this one as well. In the Vogue interview, at one point they're playing a game with her. She has to name a whole bunch of cats in a short period of time, and when she finishes, she says, "I can do so much better." We heard her say that same exact phrase in the official movie release party. And then she's asked if she's ever Googled herself, and she says yes. Another thing she says is that she said she learned that she shouldn't Google herself. Everyone's some punk on the internet. She didn't say that, but there's the correlation. Said if she could raid someone's wardrobe, it would be Blake Lively. She likes her friends cloaked in Gucci. Here's where it gets really wild. They ask her where she'll be in 10 years. And she says in 10 years, she'll be 36. And she hopes she's not freaked out by aging. I'm paraphrasing. Girl, with this album rollout, these pictures, come on. But it's crazy. It's crazy. She counts to 10 in German. And her and Travis talk about a town in Germany on the podcast. Interviewer also exits her house twice. They go out once through the back door and once through the front door. And something else that she says in this interview is that she can tell her friends everything and it never gets out. She used those same exact words on Fallon the other night. Oh, and in case I didn't mention it, this is also the interview where she said karma is real. I am terrified of her. Terrified.
Hey, cool kids, a couple of thoughts about, let's call them the racially charged pot shots that Taylor Swift was taking in her recent album. First off, if you're one of those people that's like, I cannot believe you're saying Taylor Swift is a racist, I didn't see anything racist in those lyrics, take your plate upstairs, the grown folks are talking at the kitchen table, okay? If you're one of those people that heard those lyrics and said, ooh, that's absolutely a microaggression, that was absolutely racist, I totally get it. Love that for both of us. Your next step is to make sure you understand exactly why. Because it's one thing, for instance, to be able to look at this and say, hey, that's an apple is a fruit. It's another thing entirely to know that a cucumber is also a fruit. Yes. Because see, critical thinking is about more than repeating what you see on flashcards, you understand? It's about understanding the characteristics that make something what it is. You need to be able to point to, I'm not a bad bitch, I'm not a savage, and Onyx versus Opalite, and understand that that's not just a problem simply because she took pot shots at black women. Not because, hey, that's something that black women didn't like, and that means it's racist. No, I'm not a bad bitch, I'm not a savage, Onyx and Opalite. That is part of a long history of white womanhood's resentment of and rejection of black womanhood. It is also a long history of good girls' resentment of and rejection of bad girls or slutty womanhood, which is most often tied to who? Exactly. Why do you need to understand that? Because you need to be able to draw the very clear line between Opalite and Onyx and the fact that there were absolutely people that voted for Hillary Clinton but couldn't vote for Kamala Harris for some reason. There were absolutely people who voted for Liz Cheney, and when Liz Cheney told them to vote for Kamala Harris, they didn't do it. LOL, she endorsed Kamala. Did not tell you to take your plate up to your room. What you still doing at the top of the steps? And finally, if you were the person that was like, I understand, but can we just have this one moment of joy with this album? We have bigger fish to fry. The reason why the fish we have to fry are so big right now is because they're little fish that you allowed to grow. Because before Donald Trump was rounding up immigrants and putting them in cages and disappearing them, he was on Twitter in 2011 claiming that Barack Obama's birth certificate wasn't real, that he wasn't actually born in the United States. Yeah, nobody thought that was a big deal either. What did Cyrus say on Scandal that one time? Watergate was 2 lines in the newspaper about a burglary. Palestinians been going through genocide for 80 years. And right before Netanyahu started this latest chapter of it 2 years ago, he tweeted that they were in a battle between children of the light and children of the darkness. He said they followed the laws of the jungle. I'll never forget it. Just a couple lines of words. No big deal. Yeah, there's bigger fish to fry right now. I know you're tired. I'd be tired too if I was trying to fight with one of my eyes closed. Take a step back when you need to, of course, but you need to keep your eyes peeled for everything because it all matters. So those are all my thoughts about all the thoughts. Y'all be good.
When I made my post about Taylor Swift being mediocre, it wasn't a diss per se on her. I mean, most people are average, right? Mediocre is average, whatever. Her music is average. She hasn't really had any growth in her career. And actually, a lot of people have this take. That's neither here nor there. Whatever. What's funny is the comments that say, that I'm jealous because she's white. And I just want to respond to that, because I'll respond to it sometimes, but I want every Caucasian person and non-Black person to really hear this. There is not a single Black person in any place on the planet Earth that wants to be white. There is not one. I have never met a Black person ever tell me they want to be white. Ever. It is not a desire of ours. Now, jealousy, right? Some people are like, oh, you're just jealous. What? Of what, right? I think we're all envious that she's a billionaire, maybe, right? Maybe everybody would love to not work and, I don't know, own our time. We're all a little jealous of that. None of us want to be working 9 to 5s or whatever the heck we're doing. But no Black person wants to be white, because in your heart, you are a racist. And when you see a Black person, you are upset that they're Black and you hate them because they're Black. You think that anything that criticizes a white person must also come from hate and hate for a white person. When no, I just think her music is trash and she's over celebrated for mediocre music. And then that's actually just the end of it. I don't think she's, well, I mean, it's debatable whether or not she's a good or a bad person because I don't know her. That's not for me to judge. What exactly would I be jealous of aesthetically about Taylor Swift being white? I don't want to look like her at all. Her beauty standard is not what I aspire to be at all. 0% of what she looks like is appealing to me. I'm not saying that she's not a pretty girl to millions of people, but to me, she just looks like a girl. And these comments are always even funnier because I'm literally the Black girl who could body double for Taylor Swift. Like, I am 5'10". I am the skinny girl who wishes she had the Black girl body. Like, jealous of what? Meg Thee Stallion, Beyonce, those are the bodies I want. I mean, I'm just who I am, but that's who I aspire. That's who I'm jealous of. Meg Thee Stallion.
Anyways, guys, welcome, and I hope you guys have actually enjoyed all of that clips that I actually have for you guys. And you know, one thing with the celebrities that I've actually noticed is they have this pride of thinking that when they're actually trending, they think it is all good for their self and their brands and so on and so forth. But one thing they're forgetting is this: if you are trending, at least 100 out of 100, 60% should be able to talk positively about you, not to talk negatively about you. You know, one problem that Taylor Swift have is her audience, her fans actually deceiving her. As far as I'm concerned, right from the day one of her music, I'm not seeing anything. I'm not seeing anything useful for me. I don't know about others, right? I'm not seeing anything sweet that will make me actually abandon a Black people or a Black folks music in terms of choosing hers. Now she coming out and putting out her aggression, putting out her words, putting out her pains into the music and explaining the racist she actually is what she's actually not understanding in all of these contents. You know, there are some Black people that will still be watching or listening to her music, right? But because of this interview that she just did, it will just make things worse. I'm not even going to say interview, because that clip of that video I'm seeing is literally like a corner side of the bathroom or one side of her bed. I don't know. Maybe she just did it by herself. I really do not know. But let her not think that that was actually the best thing that she actually did for her brand. Yeah. In fact, she used her own hand to be bringing her brands down every single time. You understand what I'm trying to say? See, Black people are not wrong to react the way they actually reacted to, because you poured out all the hatred and the spirits that you think is demonic inside that particular album. And the least you can do for yourself is just to shut up and go inside to go and sleep, and don't even come to make a video. Or if there is any need of making a video, you should be able to know how to appease the audience. Now, not because you are Taylor Swift, it's because you have a brand to protect. Not because every single person that is talking is entitled to their whole opinion and they are wrong, you are right, or you are right and they are wrong. It is because you have an integrity of being a brand ambassador or of being a full-time brand musician to protect. So Let's these celebrities not be misusing the opportunity that a lot of people are actually giving them for granted. Now, look at the reaction that's actually coming from each of the video. You think it is going to promote your music career? You think you're going to just blow up one day because you are trending? You are not trending on a good note. You're trending on a bad note. That's the truth. A lot of people might decide to like unsubscribe from your shop, what they call it, from your whatsoever they use in streaming your music, and which simply means you are losing money. A lot of people might decide to unsubscribe for your channel, which simply means you are losing money. You know, a lot of people might be like, it doesn't matter, even if they unsubscribe or we are going to still do it. See, it is better to maintain a reputable audience, no matter how hard you think it is, than to come here and fumble every single thing. On this particular note, I'm here to say Taylor Swift actually messed up. She did not only messed up with the music that she actually brought in her album, explaining to us why she is jealous of white women, why she hates white women, black women, sorry, not white, explaining to us every single thing in the opposite way, trying to put different categories together. But if you listen to that song, you definitely know that she is talking about black people, and of which she has already messed up from that area. Now, this particular video interview that she did, or she just stayed in the corner of her room to put out there, now made things worse and make things messed up. Anyways, I'm not saying nobody should fan her. If you're still a fan, congratulations to you. I'm happy and I'm excited about it. But let me know what you think in the comment section, because this is me just giving my own opinionistic opinion. Credit belongs to original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. If you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Do what? Subscribe. Like this video, drop me your comments, and lastly, do not forget to share. And guys, with no further ado, I'd like to say in my videos, I'm going to be saying, and I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye guys. I love you guys. Mwah.